Hey everybody, what's going on? This is James with Crypto Quick Start and want to shoot a video. It's February 6th and we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel of this massive correction. Full disclosure, before I even get into this video, I'm not convinced we're done correcting. I'm not convinced we aren't done correcting. I'm sitting on my hands right now waiting for this thing to play out. This could very well be the uptrend starting, or this could very well be a false rally. We'll find out soon enough. With that being said, I want to tell you all that it has been an amazing 3 weeks. And I mean amazing in the worst way possible. Not only did we see the worst correction that we've seen in the last 12 months, really the worst correction that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, but it's been extremely painful to watch the new people who came in from November to January basically be forever biased against cryptocurrency. Anybody that bought in at $10, $15, $20,000, they now hate crypto, and they will be doing their best to tell all their friends and family how crappy crypto is. And that's unfortunate. It's going to set the market back. I think it's going to take a little while to recover, whether this is the beginning or not. So with that being said, if you're expecting overnight riches, if you're expecting this thing to suddenly shoot back to $20,000 in the next month or 2 months, I personally don't see it. I could be wrong. God knows I've been wrong plenty of times before. But with that being said, I will tell you what I did on this crash, dip, correction, whatever you want to call it. I spent a lot of money. In fact, for the first time since August of last year, I actually have my own money in the pot. And what I mean by that is I had been playing with profits. I cashed out all of my investment. Early on, I've been playing with nothing but profits the whole time. Well, not anymore. This dip was too deep for me to pass up the buying opportunity, so I went nuts and spent a lot of money buying. Now, I'm going to tell you the story of EOS. You may have heard of EOS, maybe you own some EOS, but I'm going to tell you my personal story of EOS and why I bought like a madman on this crash. Back in September, I invested in EOS. I bought it for $1.80 something, and it went way, way down. So I was like, oh, it's all good. I'll just cost average my buy. So I bought more of it. And it brought my cost average down to $1.34. And then it went down more and more and more. And before you know it, all that EOS that I had bought at $1.34 and $1.80, etc., was worth 71 cents. And the only thing I could think is, I've lost my money. I have totally lost my money. I knew I shouldn't have bought this stupid thing. It was all hyped up. It's ridiculous. It was a terrible investment. And so what did I do? I sold about 1/3 of my EOS. It continued to drop, and I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I should get crazy and put a bunch of money in this EOS. Maybe it's so low now that it's got to bounce back. Surely, right? So I started contemplating putting a very large investment into EOS. And, very large is obviously relevant to different people. For me, very large was $30,000. It was a lot of money to me. But I chickened out in the end because risk management says that you don't risk money you can't afford to lose. And I certainly couldn't afford to lose $30,000 on a single coin. So I didn't do it. And, as EOS continued to drop, suddenly it got to 48 cents. And I thought to myself, I dodged a bullet. How smart am I for selling those coins at 75 cents? And how smart am I for not putting more money? Pat myself on the back. Well, obviously, we all know what happened with EOS. It shortly thereafter shot up to about $19 per token. All right. Obviously, right now with this pullback, it's down to $8 per token. But listen, doesn't matter. Let's do some math together. What's $30,000 divided by 71 cents? Because that's how much it cost when I was looking at buying it, not 48. That would have been 42,253 tokens. Which, if I had sold at $19, which again is the top, that would have been $802,000 for a guy sitting in a spare bedroom in Southeast Missouri. Let's just say that's a little bit of money, right? And even if I hadn't sold at the top, even if I had sold at say $15, it would have been a massive amount of money. Hell, even if I had just held it, even if I had just held $30,000 worth of EOS, bought at 71 cents, it would currently have a value of $812 each, so it'd be $343,000. I only owe about $115,000 on my house, so I could have paid my mortgage off, post taxes and everything. Could have paid my mortgage off and had $100,000 left over, right? If I had just had the guts to invest in EOS when it was down. And that's where that, those old sayings come in from the professional investors about, you should be selling when they're yelling and buying when they're crying, and, buy when there's blood in the streets, all that stuff. Well, every time before, I was too terrified to do it. Fortunately for me, my situation's changed, and, things on the business side of my life have been doing very well recently. So I had some extra money that I could really, truly afford to lose. So this time during this dip, I went bonkers. I just started buying up coins. And I actually bought before it bottomed out. It still may not be bottomed out. But for example, I bought Bitcoin at 7,250 and then it went down to 6,000. So that was a little nerve wracking. Now it's back up to 7,600, obviously. I bought a bunch of Litecoin the other day for 145. And then it went down to 125 and 100. Litecoin, definitely not my favorite coin right now. It pissed me off pretty good this week. I put in a bid on GDAX for 100 coins at $100. It got down to $100.20, so it didn't fill. I was like, gosh darn it. So then I raised my bid, but I put the bid in over on Binance where I had a bunch of Tether. So I bid $105, and then last night the damn thing dropped down to $106.50. Again, it didn't fill, and now it's back up. So twice this week I missed big orders on Litecoin. The first one by 20 cents, second one by $1.50, but that's life, right? But I got to tell you, this has been the most stressful time. And, people say, well, don't invest money you can't afford to lose and it won't be stressful. That is straight up bullshit, all right? I don't have anything invested that I can't afford to lose. But because of the amazing run-up last year, my fairly modest portfolio became a really pretty decent-sized portfolio. And when this pullback happened, I bled out, well beyond six figures. To the point where when it got to 40,000, I was, starting to get nauseous. 50,000. Oh my God, what's happening? 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000. Holy shit, we're going to zero, right? I'm sitting here contemplating just cashing all my coins out. And then I finally thought, it's too late. It's too late to cash out. Either I'm going to ride this thing to zero or I'm just going to sit and hope it comes back. And, that's what I've decided to do. But yeah, it was tough. I don't know the exact number, but, it was well beyond six figures. And it took my portfolio that I was really proud of, and all of a sudden I'm looking at going, I just went from 1,200% gains to, I think at the bottom it was right around 400% from where I started at. So it felt like I had spent the entire last year for nothing. Even though it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy ridiculous to say, oh, I'm sad about 400% gains, but it's been rough. I definitely learned a lot during this correction, and I will tell you guys and girls listening, I will never be caught hodling again. I will never buy into the bullshit that you should hold your coins no matter what. Because the reality is I was out on Facebook and I was doing videos in December telling people that this looked like a blow off top. And I was telling people that the euphoria was out of hand and that we were experiencing market mania. And I was telling people that, we were going to have an insanely difficult correction because of all this, run up, this parabolic market. And while telling everybody else that, every time I thought about selling my own coins, the fear of missing out kicked in, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell my Verge when it's 30 cents. I couldn't bring myself to sell my Litecoin at $400. I couldn't bring myself to sell my Bitcoin at $20,000, so on and so forth, right? And because of that, I lost all of those gains. Now, some people are going to say, James, you didn't lose them because you didn't sell. That's bullshit. They're gone. They're gone forever. There's no getting them back. Yes, it could go back up, and yes, I could recover those lost funds. It doesn't matter. If I had sold when I should have sold, then I could have rebought on this dip and literally tripled my positions. So when it went back up, I make 3 times as much money as just getting my money back. So right now, if it goes back up, I'll get my money back. If I had sold when I should have sold and rebought low, I could have tripled, maybe even quadrupled my positions. A lot of my coins are down 80%, right? Now, I'm not saying that you should, sell yourself short and sell for 5% gains or 10% gains or whatever. But when you have a coin like Verge that goes from a half a cent, which is where I bought it at, to 30 cents, you should probably take some darn profits, right? Instead, what I did was I only sold a fourth of my Verge, and I should have sold at least half, right? Or when you have a coin like Litecoin that I bought at $50, go to $400, I didn't sell any of them. Not one single Litecoin at $400. I could have sold just 10 or 20% of them and at least recouped my investment on Litecoin, but I didn't, right? Or you have a coin like EOS go up. I mean, let's be honest. I paid $1.34 for EOS. It went up to $18 or $19. Should have sold some of those EOS, and I could be buying back. You know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's not something I'm going to lose sleep over. It's something that I'm going to learn from and help you learn from it as well. You've got to take profits. If you don't take profits, it's not real, right? And crypto is an extremely risky adventure. It really could crash any minute. We just saw it. Like right now, people are going to get overzealous. They're going to go in here and start thinking, oh, it's over, you know, back to good times. I don't know if it is. I hope like hell it is, because I'd rather not have a heart attack at 35 from all the stress this causes me. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see where it ends up at. Personally, like I said, I bought a bunch of coins on this dip, and I'm hoping to see them go back to their old numbers, right? I think by the end of 2018, me personally, I believe we'll see a lot of new all-time highs. And if so, you know, buying on this dip is going to probably set me up for life. If not, well, you know what? It's money that I probably would have went out and, you know, did something stupid with. Probably would have bought a computer or a car or something dumb. So, you know, it is what it is. But I hope everybody fared okay during this thing. I hope you guys are doing all right. Hope nobody's stressing out too bad. I think there has actually been a couple of stories, rumors at least floating around. There have been suicides over this. It's just money, guys. And I know that sounds crazy. And if you're in a tough financial spot, it's hard to believe that. But I'll tell you, you know, just a quick side note. I went bankrupt in 2005. I had my job fired me, and I was trying to do this little business thing on the side, and it didn't work out. Went bankrupt, lost everything. Was living in a single wide trailer, right? And after I went bankrupt, it was like, oh, okay, life's really not that different. And then I started a business in 2011 that did really, really well. And in 2012, I started a second business that didn't do well, and I lost everything. I didn't lose my house, thank God, but I had to sell my car. I was down to about $1,300 in the bank. After having, you know, six figures in the bank before that, I was out of my last $1,300. Had to sell my car to literally pay my mortgage. I was in foreclosure. And for the most part, life was pretty much the same. A little more stressed, but it's pretty much the same. So I've made a lot of money, and then I've lost all the money a couple of different times in my life. And, you know, after all that, I just realized that, shit, it's only money, right? Hopefully we all do really well. Hopefully we all get wealthy off of this and we change our lives with crypto. But at the end of the day, if it all goes bust, you know what? It's better to get up and swing the bat than sit in the sidelines and you know, miss out. It's a lot easier to say I gave it a shot and it didn't work out than it is to say, well, I didn't even try, and then watch as other people around you get wealthy. I could go on and on about that. It's kind of a business thing. It's a mindset thing, but it does apply to crypto, right? You don't want to get a lottery ticket mindset where you're risking money you can't afford to lose. But if you have money that you're spending on beer, you have money, you know, you spend on cigarettes, or maybe you got a high cable bill or a high phone bill or whatever, there are places that most people can cut their budgets, and it may not be super comfortable, but it's money that they really can't afford to lose. So, for example, when times were tough for me, right, I got rid of my DirecTV. It was $100 a month. Or when times were tough, you know, I went 6 years without upgrading my phone, right? I was using this old busted iPhone 5 for the longest time. I didn't upgrade until a few weeks ago. The lady at the phone store thought I was nuts. She's like, what are you upgrading from? You know, what do you want? I was like, oh, I'm wanting an iPhone 10. She's like, what do you have now? I was like, an iPhone 5. She's like, oh, really? So the thing is there's always places in the budget that you can cut back. At the poorest point in my life, I was literally living in a house with the windows were busted out of it. There was no running water in the house. There was no heat in the house. And there was snow on the ground outside. That's how poor I was. When I met my wife, you know, that was in January 2003, right? That's the house I was living in. And I was literally doing good to eat ramen noodles. So I have been poor as freaking dirt. And, you know, life goes on. So if you're losing money right now, if you bought in at the wrong time, if there's a, you know, maybe you bought in at 10,000 or 15 or 20,000. Hell, guys, I'll be honest with you. I bought a coin at 18,000. I needed to add some Bitcoin to my trade fund because I was trading in Bitcoin pairs. So hell, I bought Bitcoin at 18,000, right? So I mean, I'm down over 10 grand on that one coin. We all make mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect, and it's really easy to get sucked in. But the bottom line is, don't panic. No matter what, it's only money, and you know, don't invest what you can't afford to lose, obviously. But you know, it's crypto, guys. This has happened many times before. It pulled back 90% in 2014. And, there are people that committed suicide. There are people that jumped out in front of trains, literally, because of their portfolios, because they're all the Bitcoin that they had went from $1,000 down to $100. But it's sad when you think about it, because gosh, if they'd have just held strong, that $100 Bitcoin became worth 20 grand someday, right? So, with that being said, please remember that I'm just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. I have absolutely no training whatsoever in those areas. You should always seek professional investment advice before making any type of investment, especially into cryptocurrency. All right, this is James with Crypto Quick Start. If you're not already a member of the Facebook group, please check the description. Come hang out with me and 3,500 other cryptocurrency enthusiasts. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully have an awesome week. Hopefully this is the beginning of a major, major rebound. Time will tell.